Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll call the meeting of the Common Council order, please. Will the clerk call the roll?
Councillor Olson. Here. Councillor Fennessy. Here. Councillor Bender. Here. Councillor Sweeney is present. Councillor McDonald. Here. Councillor Mazzolia is excused. Councillor Finsland. Here. Councillor Herrick. Here. Councillor Dennis Dahlbeck. Here. And Councillor Esther Dahlbeck.
Recognizing a quorum, will call for the consideration of the minutes of the November 18th meeting. For the motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item number 6 is the consent agenda. Item 6.9, the liquor and beer application by Super One Liquor LLC has been withdrawn.
You heard the motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item number 7.1, Finance Director Vito is recommending that $4,000 in funding previously approved for the East End Senior Center be allocated to another line item in the 2015 General Fund operating budget.
What is the pleasure? For the motion and second, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
7.2, Finance Director Vito and Public Works Director Getzman are recommending to award a contract to New Gen Strategies and Solutions, LLC, for assistance in developing a request for proposals which will be used to determine the feasibility of privatizing garbage collection and potential sale of the Moccasin Mike landfill.
Second.
For the motion and second to approve, discussion, Councillor Sweeney.
There's no one represented here tonight, is there? From
No.
my only question would be, and maybe in management meetings you had with them, my scenario would be a scale of 1 to 10. 1, there's no option of getting bids based upon their expertise, and 10 is we will absolutely receive some credible bids. Now I know they can't guarantee that. But with their expertise, they ought to at least be able to say, before we spend, I'm reasonably assured we will get some bids. And they, obviously, I thought someone would be here, they can't answer that. So we're going, I would not want to go through this whole scenario if, based upon their experience, they say, well, it's a long shot you'll even get a bid on these things. Now, maybe they've talked to you about that.
That's a good question. The process that we've been going through for over a year now is one that needs full discovery with regard to what the options are. And this is one vehicle, a major vehicle, that will help us get to that discovery point. The reason this is before you tonight is I don't know that anybody in the room, including myself and Public Works, has the experience with regard to knowing the depth of the operational of a landfill as far as value is concerned. So with that being said, and needing full discovery and full disclosure of that issue, it's the recommended process to go. We have, maybe even a year ago, had a couple typical types of vendors that operate landfills wanted to discuss this issue with us. But we didn't feel comfortable yet today doing that, performing those discussions without the right team in the room to be able to discuss it at the depth that needs to be discussed.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Olson.
We have New Gene on staff already, right?
Yes.
And what is their where are they at with their task right now? I mean,
they completed. That's the same firm that completed. We started with Dr. Larson, and then Dr. Larson brought us Dave Yankee, and the two of them completed those 3 studies we had before: the waste shed, the cost analysis, and then the valuation of the landfill. So those were all done with that report last June or so.
Okay.
when Dave
So
was here at the council meeting.
Is this a continuation, then you figure, Jeff, that needs to be to get the
Yep.
process complete?
This would be the next logical step for us to determine whether there even is an option out there for us to do these two things, to privatize collection or to sell the landfill. New Gen has got a lot of experience around the country dealing with primarily with public sector landfills and owners of landfills, and that's what makes them a good fit for us.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried.
7.3, Finance Director Vito is recommending approval of an updated contract for internal auditing services.
You've heard a motion and second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Planning and Port Director Cirque is requesting that items 7.4 and 7.5 be referred to the Public Works Committee.
Heard a motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
Item 8.1, Mayor Hagan is recommending the following committee appointments to the Business Improvement District Board of Directors: John Conway and Johanna Kirk, Alan Jacques and Julie Nelson. Liability Claims Committee, Charles Corral.
Heard a motion and second. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
Item 9.1, Councilor Sweeney is requesting a report from the city attorney regarding events in 2014.
So, and this is in no particular order, the current litigation that the city is involved in includes a matter, a civil matter with a company by the name of Springbrook. And some of you may recall the city endeavoring some years ago to purchase some software from Springbrook to install for a number of applications to be used, HR, accounting, payroll, managing inspections and follow-ups there. Suffice it to say, our relationship with Springbrook soured after some time, and they sued us. So this is a matter in which we are a defendant. They sued the county for what they would contend, amongst other things, was a breach of contract. They're claiming to be owed money for software and services provided. We have counterclaimed against them, so we're both a defendant and a plaintiff in the same lawsuit. It's weird. And we have asserted allegations of breach of contract there, and as well as some other causes of action, such as false advertising and other matters like that. That matter is we are partnering with the county to share the expense of that litigation. We are using a intellectual property specialist out of a firm out of the Twin Cities to be our advocate in that matter. There's a reasonable chance that it will resolve, like there's a reasonable chance that most litigation will resolve. But right now, that matter is set to be tried in federal court, actually, next summer. So it'd be June of 2015. We are involved as a defendant in another, which means we're being sued, in another matter for personal injuries. The individual in that matter is claiming to have been hurt in a motorcycle accident and is blaming road conditions and other conditions for that matter, and is assessing allegations against the city in that personal injury matter. We're in the discovery phase of that litigation, which means that parties are exchanging information in preparation for trial. We are also, believe it or not, the plaintiff in the occasional lawsuit, and I am pursuing a lawsuit at the moment for an individual in a motor vehicle accident which resulted in damage to a city light pole. That actually happens quite frequently. We happen to be in the slide to the intersection, take out a light pole time of year. So we do have that cause of action from time to time, and I am quarterbacking a $14,000 claim as a plaintiff in that matter right now, and that has not yet resolved. We are also involved in a non-monetary lawsuit right now wherein we are seeking compliance with a building inspection order as it concerns the condition of the exterior of a dwelling here in the city. That won't result in an award of a great deal of, it's not likely to result in a money award necessarily, so much as a court order to do or not do something with relation to the property. Those, Councilor Sweeney, are the only lawsuits that the city is involved in that I can think of at this point in time. Mind you, the thing that has to happen before a lawsuit can be brought against the city is a claim must be filed with the clerk of court. And as you know, those claims are handled and processed and considered and analyzed by our liability claims committee on a monthly basis when they meet. In 2013, we processed 30 claims against the city, a couple for personal injury, one for an allegation of breach of data privacy or data privacy violation claim, an emotional distress claim. In 2014, to date, we have processed 35 claims, 5 of those for personal injury, and one for an allegation of police misconduct. There's been no shortage of news with that issue. And I mentioned those 30 and 35 claims respectively because those are always matters that can evolve into a lawsuit if the statute of limitations has not run. And some of those are still rather fresh and could evolve into a lawsuit in the next months. So if you want a more detailed blow-by-blow as to the strength of the litigation or the lack thereof, we can always convene in closed session, and I can get much deeper into the details. But those are the active files we have right now.
Thank you.
Item 11.1 is an ordinance introduced by the Public Works Department amending the traffic code disabled parking zones by adding 1707 Baxter Avenue.
For the motion and second to approve, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried.
Item 11.2 is an ordinance introduced by the Public Works Department amending the traffic code, no parking in designated spaces, by adding Lambourne Avenue on both sides, 100 feet north from North 28th Street.
For the motion and second, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
11.3 is an ordinance introduced by the Public Works Department amending Chapter 34, the Construction Code. This was approved at the November 19th Public Works Committee meeting. You have a communication before you tonight from Todd Carlson of Carlson Refrigeration requesting more time to meet the requirements of the ordinance.
I'd make a motion to send it to Public Works, send it back to Public Works for review.
I second.
For the motion and second for referral back to Public Works Committee. All in favor signify by...
There are 2 people signed up. Do you
Oh.
want to hear? There are 2 people signed up. I don't know if you still want to hear from them or if they still want
Mr.
to speak.
Dorfman, you still want?
Okay. Okay. Chad? Do you still want to speak? Sure. Okay.
I don't know any of the...
Will you turn the little light on there? Thanks.
I don't know anything. I own a small company here in town. Is that working?
Yep.
And how this deferral or referral process works, I don't know, but I just want to go on the record stating this was passed well over a year and a half ago, I believe, a year, 5 months, year, 6 months. There's been more than enough time for anybody who was actually interested in pursuing this license to get that done. So I think that's an important factor. We're pushing now into year 2. I think it's a great thing for the city, for the residents and the businesses to step forward and move this along. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you very much. So motion and second to refer. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Any further business to come before this body? Heard a motion, a second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. We stand adjourned.